Yo, what's going on, guys? I don't know if you can hear me that well, but check it out. We got the new cosplay. TikTok coming soon. Right after this, we're going to film some TikToks. But anyways, let me set this back up. Just wanted to show it off for a little bit. We're going to get our special guest in here. Let me get my hat. See, we got to sit back up now. Hat, headphones, I can hear. All right. And here they are. You guys know them.
Hello there.
We're rocking the Mando helmets today. If I had a mic that I could move easier, I would keep it on the whole time, but we're not going to do that. But anyways, how you guys doing?
Good.
How is your week leading up to this? We're doing good?
All is well.
All right. So we can just go ahead and hop straight into it. Not waste any time.
Yeah.
Take this off again. All right. So let's get our ratings out of the way. Overall rating. How are we feeling?
Go on, KT.
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna say
that's not what I expected.
My first response 10 out of 10. But then probably going to a 9.5.
Okay.
Still like a 9 for me.
9 for
Okay.
me.
Consistent 9.
Sure.
I'm just
Alright.
nitpicky.
So I want to switch my first rating for the first episode because I think this episode is definitely better than the first two, in my opinion. But yeah, like a 9.5 for me as well. Definitely up there. It's really good. There's just there's like a little bit they can do just to push it over the edge, I think.
Right.
Let's take these gauntlets off too because they're like falling off. Anyways, but welcome back. Welcome back. Thanks for coming. This is the way. Yes, it is. The encyclopedia is here. What's going on? And me. Thank you. Love the helmets. All right.
Thanks.
So, anything you guys want to touch on before we start, like my little list, or you guys good? We'll just go through it again like last time.
Go ahead.
Yeah.
You're good.
All right. So, you start off. Kenobi's calling out for Qui-Gon, right? I thought we were gonna get him this episode. I'm not gonna lie. When I heard him calling out for him, I thought we were gonna get like a voice line or something, but we didn't. And we wound up not getting him for the whole episode, which is a little weird to me. But I think what's gonna happen. I think they're gonna have Kenobi like really losing a fight, and that's when he's gonna come through. So we'll see about that. But obviously now we definitely have seen everything from the trailer. Which is crazy for us as like creators and stuff because we have no idea what we're gonna see next. Like there's no like there's literally nothing. Like we've seen everything from the trailer. Every scene I'm pretty sure you could go back in and cross off. Because we got his suit up like we predicted.
Right.
We predicted that. I should have went back and rewatched our predictions because I kind of forget what we said. So I don't even know if we're right or not. But we start off with him in the suit, getting suit up like we saw in the trailer, and then we see his castle. I don't know how. I don't know about
Mustafar. That was chills.
I thought that was so cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, we need more of Vader's castle. So hopefully, if we get like some type of Vader show or anything like that, we get more of that because
I would love
it's super interesting, man.
No,
like, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the comics for Vader, revolving around him. Right after like him getting his suit and getting his saber and stuff like that. So there's a lot to learn about his castle. So the whole lying thing about the Grand Inquisitor, she kind of lies to Vader. So how do you guys feel about that? That's probably not good for her, right?
She's cheeky. Cheeky.
Yeah, I don't know what she's doing, man.
She's trying to climb that ladder as fast as possible.
I know.
But she's not doing it the right way. This is Vader, man. She's gonna get KO'd.
Well,
I think.
Even with that, like we did get some answers, like some questions answered with that.
What do you mean?
Like when that whole scene was happening, my first thought was, oh, okay, like one, whatever Kenobi did to her as a Padawan, she's on a path of vengeance, but at the same time, I don't know if you guys noticed, maybe it was just me, but I felt like Vader sent her on this mission.
That's a good point. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. He goes, you either have the role in Grand Inquisitor or you're done.
Right.
Completely. Like, you're done.
So skipping ahead, like obviously, I think we predicted this in the first episode. that she's going to become like a good guy in a sense. Now, whether she redeems, I don't want to say redeems because she hasn't really done anything bad. Like she's just kind of playing with the cards she was dealt. She can't really, there's not much she can do. But we'll just say redeem as an easy way to put it. I think she's going to become this character. And the only reason I don't think she's going to die per se is because I feel like Disney's going to make her into something more. Like I feel like they're going to make her like a big character, which is fine with me. Like I said before, I just don't want them to focus too much on this show. Like what they're doing now is perfect. I didn't really like her in the first 2 episodes. I really enjoyed her in this episode. She wasn't there too much. She kind of played like the perfect amount of like Inquisitor role, in my opinion. Like, it didn't focus on her, which is perfect.
Right.
So I'm gonna say that she's not gonna die. she's definitely gonna get into it with Vader, though. I don't even know. In my opinion, I almost don't even think she really hates Kenobi that much. I think she just wants to be
the best,
like the Grand Inquisitor. Like I think that's what she's going for. That's what I'm assuming. But obviously, there's rumors of her being a youngling, which I agree with. But
later on down the podcast, I'm sure you have your list just throughout the episode.
Yeah.
There is something I noticed, and I'm sure you guys caught it too. But
I mean, shout it out. Let's see what you got.
I was just gonna say back when, so they're on this non-New York City planet now, whatever it's called. So they're moved to this new planet. Anyway, Vader comes in. They went to this back door place. And they have like the secret entrance.
Right.
Reva goes in. Reva sees the old symbol of the Jedi in the Jedi Council Temple, and she gets pissed. So it might not necessarily be Kenobi, but just straight up the Jedi in the Jedi Code, which is something that Anakin, or now Darth Vader, shares in common with her. So that might be that personal link between them of a really strong hatred, not necessarily towards Kenobi or any specific Jedi, but just the Jedi as a whole.
Yeah, that's
Mr. Kenobi, abided by the code to the T. So
I definitely agree. I honestly really don't think it has anything to do with Kenobi. I think just because Kenobi means so much to Vader, I think that's her angle, because they still haven't really explained it. Like she's still kind of just like hell-bent on Kenobi, but we don't really know why yet. And I think it's more of that than anything to do with Kenobi. Like this could be anybody. If it meant a lot to Vader, it's going to mean a lot to her. That's what I'm getting from it, because it doesn't really seem like she cares too much that it's Kenobi. Like,
you know what I mean? She's fixated on him, but like I said, with that symbol and with that, she's looking so much, she gets more mad at seeing that symbol than she does seeing Kenobi.
Right. All right, so we'll go back. So she lies about it, which I don't think is a good thing. Real quick, let's touch on how Kenobi describes the Force, because we don't really get that too much in any of the movies. I don't know if you, so I wrote it down.
I love that
so much.
He says, the Force feels like when you turn the lights on when you're afraid of the dark, is basically summed up on how he says it, which is crazy. Because before this, we really didn't know. You know what I mean? Like,
right. I feel like the only time we ever actually got any sort of info or like emotional content for the Force was when like maybe Qui-Gon was talking about the Force to little Anakin, or maybe a little bit when old Ben was talking to young Luke, about the Force, but not a whole bunch of context. I loved that small scene for it.
Yeah, me too. I agree. Like I said, we don't really get like a deep explanation. I feel like that's the deepest we've went into the actual feeling you get from the Force, because before this, for all we know, you don't even feel it. Like you don't really know, like
energy,
right?
Like whatever that means.
They don't explain it, so I'm glad they did. I think that's an awesome explanation.
For sure.
And then we see Kenobi kind of snap on poor little Leia. Like he was kind of rude. He was kind of mean to her. Talking about not all people are good. He kind of yells at her,
he does.
Which is very understandable, and I'm glad they're doing it, because it really shows how like hurt and how like untrustworthy he is now, like in other people. He just doesn't trust anybody, which is a big difference from the Kenobi we get in Clone Wars and the movies.
Right.
So I'm glad they're pushing that, because that's what it's all about. All right, so let me pull up this picture.
Okay.
I should have just searched it up before this. Hold on 1 second. I don't know if you guys caught this, but when he's walking, he sees somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Did you guys catch who that was?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I honestly didn't even realize who it was until I rewatched it because it was like 3 a.m. and I like did it for some reason. It makes no sense. For some reason, I literally like skipped right over it. Like I saw a Jedi, and I was like, oh, whatever.
Whatever, it's fine.
Then when I rewatched it, I was like, wait a minute. And I zoomed, like I squinted at my screen. I was like trying to see because you can't really tell. I got it right here. Share screen one. Oh, this right here.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we definitely know who that is.
Oh yeah.
We do.
The comments disappeared from me for a second. We'll catch back up on those in a minute. But yeah, how you guys feeling about this?
I think it's because I know last episode we were mentioning how Kenobi might be experiencing those symptoms of PTSD or something like that. Mm-hmm. So this in itself is like a real life, hallucination for one thing. Right. For him, it might be the Force, but even a flashback, right. Of just things are really haunting him.
Right. And I feel like even if whether or not like we get more flashbacks or PTSD, like hallucinations like this, or if he's sleeping or whatever, I felt like this was just I was like so glued to the TV. But I definitely in the next following 2 or 3 scenes, I felt like it was big foreshadowing for everything that Leia was asking him, everything that Obi-Wan was trying to explain to Leia in the nicest way possible. Mm-hmm. One of the points that I kind of had on my list today was if it's okay that I go to that part.
Yeah.
So when on that bus cart thing, when Leia is talking to Kenobi about who is my mother? Are you my real father? And he's just breaking up so hard, trying to not break her heart in the moment. But do you think that kind of in A New Hope, how old Ben tells Luke a version of his father? Right. Do you think that Obi-Wan at some point in this show is going to tell Leia about her mother and a version about her father?
He might. That's a good point. I didn't even think about that. I wouldn't doubt it because I feel like that's just the type of person he is right. Just trying to make everything seem better than it actually is. But at the same time, I kind of don't agree with it. She's 10, and I don't know about you guys, but a 10-year-old, not all the time, obviously, kids develop differently, but I remember when I was 10, and there's a lot of 10-year-olds that I would trust with the truth at that point, especially in this situation, you know what I mean? Because it's really serious. You could say that if he does tell her the truth, I don't think he should tell her the truth per se, the full truth, but I definitely think she should tell her the truth of before, you know what I mean? You don't have to mention that he's Vader now, but just tell her the good stuff about when you guys were in the Clone Wars and right. Stuff like that. I don't see an issue with that because if they just say Vader killed him like he does to Luke, you know what I mean? Then they're not going to think anything of it. They don't know any better. But you have to tell her something, in my opinion, because she's 10. I was saying, you can't just not say anything.
She's gonna keep being curious, keep asking
questions. Right. That's the thing. She keeps all throughout. She keeps asking questions.
Yeah. I mean, that's what kids do.
I know. Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, so that really excites me though, because the fact that we're getting Hayden in robes, that in my mind definitely tells me that we're getting flashbacks. So to Clone Wars, which is insane. Real quick, I wanted to pull these up. Everyone's saying I knew I shouldn't have trusted him was the same thing as saying, wait a minute, how did this happen? We're smarter than this. Yeah. But this is what I agree with. This is what I thought was going to happen from the start. Something was going to happen. He was going to be in back to tank or whatever, kind of like in Boba. And we're going to get those flashbacks. And I agree. That's literally like one of my main predictions for the show before it even came out, was that stuff like that was going to happen. And that may be me just being hopeful, but I hope we get it, because Clone Wars flashbacks anytime are
It
welcome.
would be amazing.
Oh, yes.
Did anyone else's heart break when he like was telling the stormtrooper that when he looks at Leia's face, it
Yeah,
reminds her of his mother? I was just...
So he's probably not even lying, though. You know what I mean? Like, he's probably being
No, he's not, which is why it makes it even more heartbreaking, man.
So that's a good point, though. So the fact that he even messes up is awesome, because like they're really pushing the he's not what he used to be thing. You know what I mean? Like, he's super rusty. Like Kenobi during the Clone Wars and during like Revenge of the Sith would never, like, no way, like never mess up like that. And he just like, it slips because he's not thinking, you know, kind of let his guard down a little bit. And you know, you could say that it was because she's just being annoying and asking a lot of questions, but I just think it's because he's, you know, he's not there. Like, he's not all what he used to be.
No, definitely not. Like he let one, like it's not bad that he let his guard down, but like it shows that he's struggling a lot with like everything that's happened over the last 10 years. So now, like, interacting with like this small child that's asking all these questions, like, and with the stormtroopers in front of him, he's trying to play as cool as possible.
Right.
So
I forgot, there's one thing I wrote before we move on. So with Anakin showing up, do you think he's just hallucinating, or is that because he feels Vader's presence in the Force but doesn't know that that's what that means?
I say both.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
I just say both.
I think he kind of feels Vader's presence, but hasn't felt that connection in the Force in a while. So I think he doesn't realize that that's what's happening. Because
I think
when Vader shows up, he has no idea. Like, he doesn't expect it.
Right. And not only that, but I also think it's a nice crescendo, if you will, to Vader coming. So instead of full Vader, it's halfway between Anakin Vader. So it's Anakin in human form, but as he was pronounced as Darth Vader. So it's that, foreshadow of Vader is coming physically. Now he's physically there in full suit.
Right. And then we get to this scene where Reva gets back to their base or whatever, and they're kind of arguing about the whole Vader thing. I love this. I love the fact that they're staying true to, like, they're not Sith, right? So they're not like pure evil. Like the Inquisitors, they're not supposed to be. You know what I mean? So the fact that they're more focused on like the power struggle within their own ranks is amazing to me, because I was very worried that it was going to be more like, oh, the Inquisitors are just pure evil and they just do this for fun. They're not like Sith. They're not like the Emperor. You know what I mean? Like, they're there to do a job, and that's what they're worried about, which is amazing. Go ahead. You gonna say something?
Well, I was going to say, going back to like the second episode when you have the fifth brother arguing with the third sister and how he's like, we're accepting rewards and not chopping off the hand count of Star Wars. They have some sort of empathy for the civil, or he has at least some sort of empathy. It's not like a Sith who is just going to like force choke everyone and then leave a window. So they like you said, they have a job to do, and they're looking for specific people, not necessarily trying to increase the hand count.
Yeah, they're more of like soldiers that are just gonna do what they gotta do. I mean, obviously different, even in like real life, like soldiers have different reasonings, so everybody acts different, and I think that's why we see the difference between him and Reva. But I do want to say again, I said in the first episode, I love him. He is sick. I hope like, obviously we know all the Inquisitors don't survive, because where are they during like the original shows and stuff? They may, obviously, maybe one or two, but like at least not as Inquisitors. But I love his character, especially the guy who's playing him. Shout out to that guy. I forget his name, but he's killing it. And I wrote, Obi-Wan doesn't trust anyone anymore. I think I wrote that twice, I guess. Whatever. And then I mean, that makes sense. But did you guys know, what is his name? Freck? Is that his name? The guy who's driving the little barge?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm like pretty sure that's Seth Rogen.
Oh, it is.
It is? Okay.
Yeah, they confirmed it was Seth Rogen.
It was? Okay. That's fantastic. I love Seth Rogen, and that character was funny. Low key, his character like development just through the episode was kind of funny because like
he's like, yeah, no problem.
You see him as this like super friendly guy, and they even got me like I even trusted this guy.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like you don't pay too much attention to like the back characters and stuff like that most of the time, but when I saw this character, I was like, oh, like this guy's just a normal like normal farmer, and then he gets up to the stormtroopers and is like, hey, check these guys out. Like I don't know about them, which is cool. That whole scene though, the whole ride on the little speeder, holy shit. So we already talked about the emotional side, but can we just talk about how tense of a moment that was?
Oh my
like, dude, I was like this on the couch. I was like freaking out. I was like, oh my god, what is about to happen? And obviously we get more from the trailer, so when he like takes them all out, I just want to say I do think Kenobi's a little bit more in tune with the Force again, because this dude did not miss a shot.
No,
he didn't miss. In like the first episode, he was super, super rusty.
Like a blast maybe uncivilized, but man, did he get every shot in this episode? Like,
yeah, right. Like I literally, when I rewatched it, I was like, all right, I'm gonna see if he missed any shots. Dude, he doesn't miss any shot. The only issue I had with that whole scene is when, let me make sure I don't have anything written down before that. Oh yeah, I do, but we can go back to that. All right, so he doesn't miss a shot. But the only thing I had an issue with is why did he let the droid scan his face at all? Why didn't he just instantly shoot it? Like he gave it like a second, like he looked at it and it scanned his face.
Dramatic
effect.
I think he was trying to hope that the droid didn't notice. I was thinking he was trying to hope that the droid didn't notice him. That would be my guess.
I mean, I guess so, but like, how does he know it noticed them anyway? You know what I mean? Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Either way, he could have probably avoided them even knowing he was there for a little bit longer. At least him. You know, they could have thought it was somebody else. But it's funny that you commented this because I literally have that written in half.
Oh, yeah.
Shout out Disney. Dude, they are killing it with the gore.
Yeah,
they are.
Like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Because like you got to think, Fallen Order, you play through the whole thing. You only see like animals or like aliens or droids get cut in half. Every time you fight a stormtrooper, you never take off their arm, you never take off their leg, never cut them in half. Like this is awesome. This is like amazing. All right, so we'll go back just a little bit. We kind of skipped over this. Also in the scene when they're on the ship riding, before the troopers get there, Kenobi talks about his family, which is crazy to me because we never see Jedi talk about their family before, other than Anakin, like we know his mother. Like other than that, I'm pretty sure we don't, in the movies at least, we don't ever get anything like that. And the fact that, you know, Kenobi must have been really young when they took him, because, you know, you don't really remember anything. And I mean, maybe when you're 3 or 4 is when you start to remember, right? So he must have been like really young, because he literally doesn't remember much.
I watched the timeline, you know, Kenobi's life timeline, and he was 5 years old when he entered the Order. So he was old enough, to go and, you know, that's probably why he was like, I remember, you know, a little baby or whatever. Like he remembers a brother. So
there was a hand of his father, a snap of his mother. That like I found that scene so interesting because like up until that scene, it kind of didn't occur to me to like research about like each of the Jedi before they were taken, like if they happen to have any siblings or what their family was like. It never occurred to me before now to actually like go in online and see like, oh well, is there any other detail from them like before they were taken?
Right. Yeah, it's crazy to think about, because it's kind of something that is like, it's like out of sight, out of mind type of thing, where you don't really think about it, so it doesn't really affect you. Because like the only one we see is Anakin, and he chooses to leave, and his mother's okay with it. How many Jedi were taken, and like the family wasn't okay with it? You know what I mean? Like they might not have said anything, but like at the same time, how many people weren't okay that they were just taking their kids? You know what I mean? So it's super, super weird. And you know, even though my name's Jake the Jedi, like I've never agreed with the way the Jedi like their standards and everything. Like I've never have. And this makes it even worse, because I couldn't imagine having a kid and the military coming and being like, hey,
Goodbye.
we're gonna take your kid now. They're only 4 years old. We're gonna take them now and raise them to be soldiers. Like,
Right.
There's no way. So I mean, maybe this was meant to be an Inquisitor cosplay.
Right.
It also like made me think of the that one episode of Clone Wars when Sidious hired Cad Bane to go around the galaxy to pick up all those younglings, but like a little early, like before their time to be taken. That just made me like that one scene just made me think of all those like children that were taken, but obviously in that episode, like they were all being taken before their like early, like before their time. But same concept. Like I never agreed with that part of the Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah. Like the more we learn about them, like low key, the more I don't agree with anything they do. There's just a lot of stuff they do. It just doesn't make sense to me.
Right.
Anyways, I wrote here because I was thinking about it. So we all know Mando and Grogu are like awesome. Like they make great chemistry on screen, and we have a lot between them. But I couldn't help to think the more we get of Obi-Wan and Leia, the more I was asking myself, like, who's a better duo? Who are we thinking is a better duo just based off of what we have so far? Obviously, most people are going to say Mando and Grogu just because we have more content on them.
Yeah.
But, like, low-key... So there's rumors... I don't know if you guys heard. There's rumors that they're going to do a season 2 of Kenobi, right?
I actually didn't hear that. Okay.
So... obviously we don't know what's going to happen. He's not going to be fighting Vader all through season 2. Like, that's just how many times are they going to fight before they see each other in New Hope? Right. You know what I mean? I also don't think he'll spend that much more time with Leia if there is a season 2. But their chemistry, in my opinion, is fantastic. Like, it's up there, in my opinion, close to Mando and Grogu. Like, they are a good team.
They're fun.
Like, I agree.
Yeah. Obviously, Leia doesn't do much. She talks a little bit and she convinces that guy that their story's right. But Grogu in the beginning doesn't do anything either. So I don't know. I think it's a cool comparison. I'm excited. We'll revisit that question after the series is over.
Yeah.
But obviously right now I'm still giving it to Mando and Grogu just because they are like father and son.
Yeah, exactly.
It's fantastic. All right, so moving on. Where are the rest of the Inquisitors? So obviously we only know up to right now. I think the 5th brother is the highest number we have in the series. I don't know actually. How many Inquisitors are there? Do we know?
What I looked up, there's a max of 15.
Let's see.
But the 15 number is more from like comics and lore, not counting like the only ones that we see like on screen in Rebels and now like in Kenobi. But from the number I looked up, it was between 12 and 15. So
there's 11 canon right now.
Okay.
Wow. So there's the Grand Inquisitor. There's Reva, the 5th brother, 7th sister from Rebels.
I remember that.
The 8th brother from Rebels. The 6th brother, who is apparently in the comics. The 10th brother, which is also where is he from? Looks like he's from the comics as well. 2nd sister, the best one, everybody knows. The 9th sister as well from Fallen Order.
Okay.
And then it says an unknown male Twi'lek Inquisitor. There's also an unknown female, and these are all from the comics. So,
cool.
I guess that answers my question. But
there you go.
That still leaves the fact that none of them are in this, and it makes me wonder because we're 10 years into the Empire, right? So there's got to be more than just 5. Like, there's no way they're going to count 5 of them in 10 years. So I'm wondering where the other ones are during all this. It doesn't really matter, but it's just interesting to think about to see like where they are.
I definitely hope that like now this is just me hoping that we get to see more of them like at some point before the end of the show. Like, I don't know if it's gonna happen, but I know, like, thinking back to like when you were just looking them up, there is one scene in the trailer that we haven't gotten yet.
Which one?
The The scene where Reva is she's fighting on the
Oh, that's
doing the Obi.
true.
That's the one scene that we haven't gotten yet.
That's true. That's a good point. I forgot about that. So we haven't seen everything. So at least we know one thing that's still going to happen.
Right.
She's going to have to fight. Now, that leaves an interesting question as well. How do we get to that from here? Because obviously, we'll talk about this as we get to the end of the list. But we left off on like a cliffhanger. But how are we going to get to her going back to their base and eventually fighting on her base? So, like, is that because Vader tries to kill her? She fights Vader and leaves and like escapes, or like,
right?
I don't know. It's gonna be
that might be the shift to the light side.
Right. That's
of,
what I'm
like,
saying.
Base Vader, boom,
So
and she's
the only
like, I don't know.
The only issue with that is, so I'm pretty sure in canon now, your lightsaber reflects, your color reflects like your stance in the Force, right?
Right.
Because it used to be like whatever crystal you got was your crystal, and if you wanted a red one, you had to bleed it, and that's how Ahsoka got her white ones, is she took red ones and purified them. But now, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure they changed it to it where you just get a crystal, it doesn't have a color, and then when you ignite it for the first time is when you find out what color it is. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure I heard that somewhere.
I thought it was that for the Jedi for sure. I thought it was still the same rule for.
I believe so. Yeah.
I mean, while the Inquisitors aren't Sith, I thought the same thing applied. Like same rule applied to the dark side. Like you have to bleed it. But that's just from my thought.
Purge Troopers were also in the trailer. I haven't seen them yet. I don't remember the Purge Troopers being in there, to be honest.
Yeah, the Purge Troopers.
So yeah. Anyways, where did this go? I wrote Ewan's performance is amazing. Here we go. I can explain Kyber crystal rules. All right, go ahead. We'll pull it up when you type it out.
Let's hear it.
But yeah, so I just want to give a shout out to this man, Ewan. Man, he is destroying this role. Like he is killing it.
Yes.
In a good way. Like, dude, oh my god, his acting is so good. Like, he said that he had like trouble getting the accent back down or whatever, but like,
he's
it
fine.
Honestly, dude, it feels
he's doing
like
great.
He never left. Like, it feels
exactly.
like 17 years go by and it still feels like that. It's crazy. So shout out to him.
He's doing great.
Wrecker. So I don't know if you guys heard about this. There's a rumor going around that our friendly neighborhood loading droid that doesn't speak is actually Wrecker from Bad Batch.
Interesting.
I heard this in a couple places. So, when else have we seen a droid other than like a Gonk droid or like stuff like that? That's really the only one I can think of that doesn't communicate,
doesn't speak
in any way. So obviously, like R2 like beeps and stuff, but like a lot of the people know what he's saying. You know what I mean? A droid that just doesn't talk at all, especially a droid of that size, like they definitely have the room to put that technology in there. But if you look, I won't pull it up. It might take me a while to pull it up. But when you see the hammer behind his back, right?
Yeah.
If you look at the back of his legs, it looks like clone trooper armor that's been repainted.
I'm gonna go back.
Go rewatch.
Look. Yeah.
Go rewatch that. But once I heard that and I rewatched the episode, the way he moves doesn't scream droid to me. Like it doesn't. Like he doesn't really move like a droid. He kind of just walks like a big dude. So a lot of people are. I saw this on a bunch of different profiles and like people posted about it. But I think that'd be just awesome. Because why not? Like, fuck it. Why not? Obviously, we haven't seen Bad Batch Season 2, but that comes out this year, right?
That comes into September.
Yeah.
September.
So, obviously, they're not going to kill off Wrecker either way, I don't think. So why not? Let them be helping people out.
What was the droid? Was it just a loading droid?
That's what they said. It's a loader droid. But like,
of course, I can't find it if I look it up on Google.
All right. So in Legends, red crystals were synthetic color, while in canon, the Jedi crystals, which were bled by pouring dark side emotions instead. Other colors needed. Another message. Yeah, we got that part. But yeah, so I think it'd be cool if that was Wrecker. It would just be funny because why not?
Yeah.
Doesn't
For
really
sure.
affect the story, but it'd be cool. Let's see. So we get more on Quinlan Voss. How you guys feeling about that? Because we see him in Phantom Menace in the background for a little bit.
my
It's
God.
cool.
I was gonna bring that up. Like,
Yeah, and I know you guys are Clone Wars people, so I know you guys are excited about that.
Very, very cool.
I just think it's awesome because this is something that's been talked a lot about in the fan base. I see a lot of like TikToks about it, a lot of YouTube videos. He's one of the only people that we don't know anything about. Like a lot of the Jedi, we know whether they live or die. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like through Order 66 at this point. Like for a while, we didn't know about Ahsoka. You know, and then for a while, like there's new characters that they can obviously bring in, but like of characters we know, like we pretty much know most of the main characters either die or live.
Right.
So it's cool that they brought him back finally and kind of like told us his story. I'm sure we'll get more of him in like Andor or any of the other shows,
right.
Which is super awesome because his story is super cool. Just throughout, like he goes from light to dark side, back to the light side, which is crazy.
Right.
Doesn't Quinlan Voss, doesn't his abilities sort of mirror that also of Cal Kestis? Right?
Yeah, they have I forget what it's called.
It's the psycho.
Yeah, they can touch objects and see like their story.
Yeah.
So every other crystal color was done by a light side force user bonding and connecting with the kyber crystal, which gave them the color. If this process was done to a red crystal, it makes it white. Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Quinlan was confirmed to have survived Order 66 in the Vader comics. I didn't know that.
Oh, okay.
Doom is also on the list of Jedi. Also, Kanan, yeah. There you go.
Oh, yeah.
Psychometry.
That's psychometry. Okay.
The encyclopedia, like I said. But anyways, so we'll go down this list more. So with Quinlan, he leaves a message, and I'm interested to hear your guys' take on this and what this means. He says, "Only when the eyes are closed can you truly see the way." So obviously, the Quinlan Voss is definitely now Mandalorian. That's who Mandalorian is. He's, I'm just kidding. We wonder why he can use the Darksaber. It's because Quinlan Voss becomes Mando.
Right.
That's what I'm going with. This is the way. No, but only when the eyes are closed can you truly see the way. What do you think he means by that?
I am going to refer to Kanan Jarrus for that. He is blind. He becomes one with the Force. He can now see.
You know who else is blind and who is one with the Force? What's that guy's name?
That guy, yeah, in Rogue.
So maybe being blind, maybe having your eyes closed actually like.
No, seriously. Yeah.
You I don't know if you guys are Avatar fans, but I am. Last Airbender.
I was gonna say which one.
And we know both, but in this context, Last Airbender. So Toph, she's blind and she becomes one of the strongest benders of all time.
Right.
So I think just over fandoms, like everyone can agree that like, I mean, even Marvel, you get Daredevil and that's how he becomes like superpower because all his other senses get, pushed up. And I'm assuming it's the same with the Force. Like if you can shut off, I mean, obviously you don't have to go blind physically, but if you close your eyes and you can disconnect from that sense, that energy that you would be using for that gets put into your Force ability. So
it's just pretty much the Force completely guiding you and you're not complicating what you see in front of you.
Which I think honestly could even get related back to Qui-Gon, because Qui-Gon was super, like, that's why he trained Anakin in the first place, is because that's what the Force wanted him to do. You know what I mean? So, I really like that they focus. They don't like focus on it, but they put a lot of the little stuff in there to kind of explain the Force more to us, which is insane. I love it.
I definitely appreciated that a lot. Like. Yeah. Especially like after that scene, like, I'm thinking back to all the other characters that, I mean, whether they were blind or not, that were the most in tune with the Force, that knew how to block out the rest of the galaxy and enhance everything else. And I know when I saw that scene, it definitely made me think of Kanan first, and then it made me think of the scene in Rebels with Kanan and Bendu.
Right.
I have a thought.
Um,
I have a quick thought.
hold on. Asajj mentioned in Kenobi, maybe a girl can dream. A man can dream too. Please,
Right? Always.
please.
Always.
I want her to become more mainstream, so just
Me
for the
too.
cosplays. I just want.
Yeah.
I love when people cosplay her because it's like they got to put the bald cap on, they got to
Right.
cover their eyebrows, they got to do the makeup, and it's just sick. It's like the Twilight thing. Like people who cosplay,
Yeah.
Twilight. It's a lot of work that goes into it, but just for such a simple look, I think it's awesome. But go ahead.
Best characters that come out of Star Wars, 100%.
100%.
Honestly. No, just correlating back to Kenobi making the comparison between turning on the light when it's in the dark. You close your eyes, it's dark, but then you can finally see that it's the light itself.
Good point. Good point. All right. So, yeah. All right. And then this is when we get to the juicy stuff, right?
I know.
So
Whole juice.
Kenobi almost passes out. He feels Vader, and he knows he's there. The way they introduce Vader in this, like they literally could have made this into a whole movie, and it would have been fantastic. It was like a horror movie, dude. Rest in peace to
Everyone.
dad and son, and
Goodbye.
lady who gets drug into the street. So it really irritates me because I don't know if you guys are Star Wars Theory fans, but a couple years ago he tweeted about how he wished that in Revenge of the Sith they showed Anakin killing the younglings, and he got so much backlash for it. Like people were like, "Bro, it's implied. Like, why do you want to see kids get killed and like blah blah blah?" And I'm just in my head, I'm thinking about it like, all right, no one obviously wants to see kids get killed, right? You know, we know what goes on in this country right now. There's a lot of bad shit. No one likes it. No one, wants to sit there and watch the news and see that.
Right.
But when we're talking about a movie and this character that we see go through so much, Anakin goes through so much shit, his mom, that's basically where it starts. But he does go through a lot. So I feel like if they would have showed us that, because we've seen everything else that he went through, right? We saw him kill, the Sand People. We didn't see a lot of it. We saw a little bit of it. But, like, I just think if they would have shown it, it would have just, like, made it that much more real. Like, I feel like people don't – because, like, when you hear people talk about Anakin, they're like, oh, it's the Jedi's fault that he went crazy and he did all these crazy things. I want to hear those people say the same shit now that they see Vader killing all these random ass people.
Yeah. Right.
Do you still think it's justified that he's doing it? No, it's not.
No,
just because you lose people and just because bad shit happens to you doesn't give you the right to kill kids. You know what I mean? So I'm very, very glad that Disney is taking it this far. My mom said it too. I was talking to my mom on the phone and she goes, I'm really surprised they even aired this.
Right.
And I said, I'm really glad they did. And she goes, why? And I told her this the same way I'm telling you guys. But she was like, but I'm surprised they showed it, especially with all like the shootings and stuff going around. Like, I'm surprised they didn't like redact that and take it out before they aired it. And I'm like honestly glad they didn't, because in context of Star Wars, like it does mean something. Because if they didn't show that, Vader doesn't seem as scary, and the stuff he's doing doesn't seem as bad. Because if you just hear him, like Kenobi goes, oh my God, he just killed so many people. It's so much different than us seeing what we saw.
Yes.
And they honestly didn't go far enough, in my opinion. Like they did in the scenes where he was killing the people, but I just feel like Vader that's the one thing that they could have done more of. And not saying it's good or bad either way.
No, yeah.
But it could have just been better that they did more, which is
I agree. I was so afraid during that scene, like no joke. And at the same time, I thought like, I definitely think that they like, this is no hate towards the scene. They could have done like a lot more send on like, especially like the murdering part and everything. Because like you were saying for that scene in Revenge of the Sith, like it's one thing, like hearing the thing, hearing the screams and everything from the background or from when Obi-Wan or Yoda is hearing everything through the Force, but it's different like seeing it right in front of you. I think that would have made a huge difference.
Now, so I will say this, if they would have shown it in Revenge of the Sith and stuff like that, this scene would have been fine the way it is. But the fact that there is that argument online of people saying, oh, well, Anakin's justified, that's the only reason I say they should have pushed it even further, just to prove a point, just to be like, hey, this guy is really fucking bad. Like he does some bad shit. Like
Yeah.
but he in the end he comes back around. You know what I mean? So it almost does. It's like I say it to everybody. Star Wars is a lesson. You can take from it what you will, but in my opinion, Star Wars whole thing obviously it's based around hope, and to never lose that hope no matter what happens, whether you do bad things or bad things happen to you. Anakin comes around. You know what I mean?
For sure.
At this point, Vader. I've argued with people about this. They say Anakin and Vader are the same person. They're not, in my opinion.
Mm-mm.
They are completely different people. Anakin is destroyed by Vader. There's just a little sliver of him left, and winds up breaking through in the end. But yeah, let me pull up some of these comments because we missed it. Asaja's been one of my faves since I was a youngling. I always wanted her sabers too. Oh, I'm so happy she's getting more attention more recently. Yeah, I agree. I liked Ventress from the 2D Clone Wars with that whole Anakin fight. I don't know if you guys have seen that. That whole fight is crazy.
That's pretty cool.
I still have yet to see the 2D Clone Wars.
You should watch it. It's pretty cool. I mean, Grievous is really good in that. Ventress versus Anakin is the best part of it, in my opinion. I gotta rewatch it. I haven't seen that since I was a wee lad. So,
a wee youngling.
Give me a Vader horror movie. Yeah, seriously.
Honestly, of any like horror movies that they're bringing out within the next like say 3 years, it is just like movie industry in general. I would pay so much money to see a horror movie of Vader in theaters, like full sense, like on
it. And I'm not even a horror movie person. I hate scary movies, but that would be an exception for me.
So that's what I'm saying is like, even if they do it as a show, right? Or just like an episode of his series, there's so much unexplored Vader. There's a lot of time in Star Wars unexplored. Obviously, there's 10 years before, there's 10 years after it. But just Vader as a character, his arc is shortened so much because of the movies. Like, obviously, we get him as a kid. The prequels do a really good job of spanning a long time because it goes from when he's like a kid till when he's like And how old is he in Revenge of the Sith? Like 20 something, probably early 20s.
Yeah.
So you get like the first good quarter of his life, then you skip a really long time, and then you get the end of his life. You know what I mean?
Right.
But at the same time, there's just so much unexplored stuff that's never explained, like how he gets his lightsaber. Like it is in the comics, but not everybody reads the comics.
Right.
Not everybody watches Star Wars videos on YouTube and learns all this stuff. So if they made a show and just made it that dark, or even more, like I said, in my opinion, they can go even further.
Sure.
It would definitely do really good numbers. Everybody's going to watch it. It's Vader. And you can't really mess that up. You know what I mean? If you go, especially the darker you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Everybody right now is like, oh, Vader's the best villain of all time. I want to know where these people have been at the whole time, because I've always said that. Vader has always been the most menacing, the best villain of all time.
Very
so I don't know. You guys are freaking out now.
Right.
But yeah, so I think they should. Here's a canon interaction between Vader and Luke between 4 and 5 in the comics. Vader, who are you? Luke, you killed my father. I've killed many fathers. You'll need to be more specific. Yeah, good. We like that. Stranger Things 2. What about it?
I know what they're talking about. Have you guys watched Stranger Things? Kind of like side note.
Not yet.
They're referring to how horror movie like brutal.
Oh yeah. Season.
So if they went like even further send with a Vader like film or TV series, exactly what they're doing right now with Stranger Things, it would be so good. I'm not going to spoil anything for you, Amber, but I'm telling you right now, like I binged that in like that same weekend. I binged Kenobi and
right.
the other ones, but you need to watch it. Like they went full send on horror, like
just horror,
like gore, like the way that people die.
Got it.
It's great.
I'm like, I know what they're talking about.
Yeah, that is what they're talking about. We need an Anakin killing younglings in the temple. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's supposed to be. Ooh.
Flashback.
Oh.
Flashback.
Ooh.
Flashback.
Good point. Maybe.
Seriously.
Maybe.
Flashback.
Dude, no. So, like I said, it just really it'll solidify the fact that he did so much bad shit.
Right.
That's the point. It's supposed to be hard to watch. You're not supposed to want to watch it, but it makes sense. You know what I mean? I hope they do it.
Especially with like how good the beginning scene with Order 66 looked. If they did a flashback with that same energy of that scene, just
that
like
same speed and
same
intense.
We
Yeah,
even saw like Mando, Grogu. We saw his
Right.
experience with Order 66.
yeah.
So why not? Or
Well,
like, what if it's like
I have a quick fan theory.
sure.
Kind of like going back to Quinlan Voss. Do you guys think that Quinlan Voss may have rescued Grogu?
that's what. So there's a lot of things. I've heard a couple. I've heard that. And I also heard what's her face? Because that's another one I don't think we know. Barriss Offee. Doesn't she? Do we know if she dies before that or not? I don't think so, right?
Barriss would not save Grogu.
You don't know that. She could have done it.
Barrett?
You mean like
dark
went
side.
back to the
I mean, she was
like,
in prison, wasn't
higher-
she? You know what I mean? Like,
I don't
yeah,
think
I'm pretty sure she's not dead. I'm pretty sure she was like in jail.
I thought her master was in jail.
I don't know. I might have to do some research and then
Okay.
we'll talk about that more. But
what if
I don't know,
Ventress
yeah.
saved Grogu?
we don't know.
Right?
That's the thing. I really hope we find out because Grogu is super interesting to me just
He
because of
is.
the lifespan that they have. So Grogu is what, 60, 70? I forget what they say he is.
50,
Like
50.
he's relatively young for their species, obviously. Like look at the guy. He's a little baby.
He's this
But
small.
that is the craziest part, especially with Star Wars Eclipse. I don't know if you guys saw that trailer for the game.
I did.
That game's not coming out for years, but
I
we
know.
see Yoda, and this is way before the Jedi, right? So the fact that Grogu will live for so long
I know.
blows me away because no one talks about it. Everyone talks about how Luke was trying to start a new temple or how Rey might start a new temple.
Yeah.
What about Grogu, dude? Like,
Yeah.
Yoda was the master. Everybody knew Yoda. Like he might not have built the Jedi, but he was like a main part of it for like a really long time. Grogu's gonna do the same thing.
I'm thinking, but now, so it's straying off a little bit, but Mando, he's very emotionally attached to Mando. What if he is just Mando leader for years to come, so the Mandalorian are able to live on for a while?
True. It could be that as well.
He could
Maybe
be
it's
like
both.
the Mando version of Yoda for Jedi.
Maybe it's both.
Yeah.
Right.
Maybe the Mando and the Jedi become one.
Maybe he's the new wielder of the Darksaber
Jedi
when he's
all-
older.
Right. Ventress gets killed prior to episode 3 in the Dark Disciple novel. That sucks. Barriss's master is Luminara, and she was on Kashyyyk during Order 66.
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah, but I don't think Barriss dies though. I actually kind of like that character, even though she's shitty. She's a very well written character.
Yeah.
She is.
My mom says that would be
She's
awesome.
a traitor.
She said definitely watch Stranger Things. Dark Disciple is so good. That's a book, right? I gotta listen to that.
Right.
I've been listening to so I deliver for Amazon now. It's my new job.
Good job.
But right now I'm listening to Game of Thrones because the first season of Game of Thrones audiobook is like 40 hours long. And I was like,
wow,
I need that much stuff because I listen to 10 hours of it a day. So no, I limit myself to a couple hours per shift so I don't go through it in
that's smart.
4 shifts.
Nice.
But yeah, so I'm gonna get more into Star Wars books after that. I think I'm gonna read Brotherhood next. I don't know, did we talk about the Ahsoka book? I think I recommended it to you guys.
You brought it up, and you definitely
recommended it.
If you guys need my Audible account, I will give it to you so you can listen to it.
Oh,
It is
what's right here.
so good. It is literally so good because Ashley reads it. It's so good.
Tell me you're an Ashley.
Barriss nearly got Ahsoka executed. I can't forgive her for that. Yeah, no one can, but the character is still pretty dope.
I got it signed.
Clear coat that before it comes off.
I will.
Yeah, I mean that was for the character. That was for the character progression, character arc, all that.
Right. All right. So moving on. Vader's insane. Poor village is what I wrote. God, he literally kills that kid and doesn't even hesitate, bro. He just doesn't.
You're done.
So this is another thing. I don't know if it's been confirmed yet, but I'm pretty sure that's Hayden in the suit.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can just tell by the way he's walking.
Yeah.
Literally just by the way he walks.
No, for sure.
I wrote like a horror movie, and then we literally get one of the best lines of all of Star Wars. What have you become? And I am what you made me.
Oh my god,
dude! Holy shit! Talk like they don't talk a lot.
Yeah,
they're like kind of fighting the whole time.
Yeah.
talk about a way to get a point across in
Yeah.
just 2 sentences. Like, holy shit, you guys. I was freaking out when they said that. It just blows my mind that we're even seeing these two together again.
I know.
And the fact that they're having this dialogue, I can't wait to see what else they say.
Me too.
If Obi-Wan starts winning in the next fight, I really hope he gets a little snippy and a little sarcastic with him, just so we get a glimpse of old Obi-Wan. I want to hear like, "Oh, that's why you killed Padme," or "That's why Padme dying was your
that's
fault,"
why you loved her.
or some shit, right?
Well, I want him
Something
to
like that.
Age out of Uncle Owen's book and be
Right?
like,
Yes.
I want
like
that.
he trained his father. Yeah, I want
Yeah.
Kenobi to say some shit just so we can see Vader
Yes.
Just
get more
so
rageful. Like,
pissed.
And like kind of just to touch up on the point, right? Especially for like this whole like scene, and especially for performance wise, like for Obi-Wan watching Vader walk through the town, his reaction is I love it so much because it's totally genuine. Because this is the first time he's seeing Vader right in front of him, so he's genuinely scared. So I thought that whole performance was spectacular. And the other point was that I definitely made this was like the first point I made to my wife was when they finally ignite their sabers, like the technology difference of 17 years, that light reflection difference is like.
You want to know what it is, right?
Yes.
You want to know why?
It's
because they use real sabers. They use like our lightsabers. They
did
light up because I don't know if they're NeoPixel. They may be baselit, but I don't know about for fighting scenes. They may not for fighting scenes, but I know for like the close-up shots where they're just holding it.
Yeah.
So when you watch like Attack of the Clones and stuff, right? I may be wrong, but like in the original trilogy and stuff, you don't really get the glow as much from the sabers because they're not glowing. So the way they did it, I don't know. You guys should check out this. If you guys are into like VFX and stuff like that, check out this YouTube channel called Corridor Crew. They talk about it. They do a lot of like behind the scenes stuff. But basically, the way they did the sabers in the original trilogy is it was filmed on film, obviously, because it's way back in the day. It's not digital. So they would hand cut out each frame where the saber was, and they would shine a light through the film, and it would like that's how it would glow, and you would get that's why it's like white because the light is so bright. But that when it like comes around the edges is when it gets its color and everything. And like the way they use the lenses. But and then in the prequels, obviously they CGI it. But the problem with CGI is, first of all, it's time consuming and expensive. Second of all, George Lucas was doing a lot of new and innovative stuff for the prequels. But now, since it's so advanced, what you miss out on the prequels with the glow, because you have to do it through CGI, is the realness and the feel of the saber. When you see Kenobi ignite his saber in the dark, the whole screen is blue.
Amazing.
And we're talking about one of the hottest sources of heat and light. So it makes sense. But yeah, if you go and watch the behind the scenes, they're using like actual sabers. So
awesome.
I love that detail because I know during the prequels, like the sabers that they had, they just had
the screen scenes
playing out, and then you use all the CGI. But I love just that one added detail for the technology difference. That made me so happy. Just
I agree.
For that.
Right. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's just like even as an actor, that must make it feel so much more real because. I don't know if you guys saw the behind the scenes, like the leak stuff before it came out. They had clips of this fight when Vader force pushes Kenobi. That got leaked, and you can see the sabers and stuff right there. But they're on a real set in that too, because in Mando, I don't know if you guys, like I said, I don't know if you guys are super into it, but I kind of like the VFX stuff. So the way they shoot Mando, especially during COVID, it's a screen behind them that's tracked in 3D. To the camera, so when they move, the perspective changes. It's all a screen, and then they build like the close-up stuff in the set, like the chairs and the desks and stuff that they touch. Everything in the background is a screen. That fight scene between Vader and Kenobi wasn't. It was an actual set or an actual place they went. So I couldn't imagine, like, just picture being Ewan. You're fighting a guy in a full Vader suit. There's no CGI going on there. It's an actual suit. You have these sabers that are actually lighting up. They're not just sticks. And then you're in this environment that they've made look like Star Wars. Dude must have been living on cloud nine.
So cool.
Seriously. So wait, they use that tech in Mando, right? in
What
when they were showing like the Razor Crest or like the inside slave when they were sitting inside Slave One, right? They use that same
the
tech.
screen? I think so. Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I gotta go right now. But user still on later. I'll be back. I don't know. We might be. Depends on how long. May the force be with you all. If you watch the behind the scenes stuff for Disney Star Wars, they use lightsabers that actually glow. Yeah, exactly. I read it was him. She's talking about Hayden in the suit.
Oh yeah.
The screen you speak of is called the volume. Yeah.
The volume.
Cool.
So
did we get a taste of that, like in the Vanity Fair photo shoot?
Maybe. But yeah, basically the way it works is that the camera is placed into a 3D world, kind of like a VR headset.
Okay.
And wherever you move it in real life, it corresponds with the screen and behind. So
it's freaking awesome.
Dude, the technology is amazing. I'm pretty sure somewhere they did like a demo where you could go and you could actually see like the Mando scenes and stuff, but I'm not 100% sure.
Stuff.
Anyways, moving on. So Vader overpowers Obi-Wan completely. Like Kenobi,
yes.
Not only does he just suck,
he cremates him.
Dude, he doesn't do
Done.
it. Like, bro, he looks like a youngling at this point.
Yeah.
So it's obviously, I think it has less to do with Kenobi being rusty, like people are saying, and more just to do with Vader's pure strength and power.
Well, and also notice that Vader is utilizing the Force a lot more than he has in the past. You know, of course, lightsaber skills, he's in the suit. You know, he's very powerful, and he's something that, you know, my boyfriend mentioned is that he's toying with Kenobi.
Oh,
you know,
100%.
it's not his full potential by any means. But he's utilizing the Force a lot more than he even has, you know, when he was Anakin. So
I think that's a big part in the Emperor of pushing him, because the Emperor like tests him. He does so much shit. Like, I forget where it's from, but it's from one of the comics I think, where he gets like ambushed, and it was the Emperor's idea or whatever, and like Vader almost loses but winds up winning. I forget exactly where it's from, but
like I love how they did that scene too, because like one, like aside from Kenobi being rusty, like we've seen in all media in the past, we've gotten that, you know, Vader he utilizes the Force for his strikes, but he utilizes his one-handed strikes.
Yeah. Right.
Two hands. So that amount of added detail that we got, and I know like I've seen comments of people like you know, upset about the fight between Vader and Kenobi, but what they're not realizing is one is utilizing the Force at its fullest, one is not, and Kenobi hasn't been fully connected to the Force for the past 10 years. So it's one of those things that they're not. It's the added detail that they're not really paying attention to.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, also, like I said, not only is Kenobi just rusty, but like think about who Vader is. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he's supposed to be this powerful, so it's supposed to be easy for him. I guarantee you, Kenobi will get his ass beat in the next fight. He's going to get his ass beat at the beginning, and then he's going to come back and wind up beating Vader. He has to, because if they don't, there's too much of a plot hole for A New Hope. So he says, when I left you, I was but the learner, or now I'm the master, or whatever.
Right.
He was not the learner in this fight. Like, he was the master in this fight. Like, he destroys Kenobi.
Cue Qui-Gon.
Yeah, basically. But then we get back to Reva. She sees the Jedi symbols, and we kind of already touched on this, but yeah, I agree with what you said. She kind of just gets mad about it. So that's backs up my she doesn't really care about Kenobi theory. Anyways, so something that I saw a couple people post about after I noticed this. So not only is this third episode of Kenobi, where Vader puts Kenobi into fire, but in episode 3 of Star Wars, it's the exact opposite. And there's this thing that George Lucas says, is he says that it's like poetry, it rhymes. So this, I think, is just like a shout out. They may not have done it on purpose, but like shout out to George Lucas. But it's just insane that Vader is literally doing exactly what Kenobi did to him, back to him. Exactly. When that fire started and he's just holding him up, I was like, No way. I was like,
Disney.
I said, how the fuck are they gonna
Disney?
explain this? Yeah, but like, because we don't see, and it made me instantly think. I'm like, in the original trilogy, we never see Kenobi without the robes on.
Right.
Like, we never see anything other than his face. And I was like, if they burn him, how are they gonna explain this? But then obviously he only gets like the side of his body burnt,
Right.
which makes sense. But that whole scene, then you get the scene of Vader. It's just Vader's face with the flames, and the flames are in his lenses.
Yeah.
Mwah.
Beauty.
Chef's kiss.
Beauty.
It was.
Everyone's like,
Fantastic.
Disney? I'm like, no, Disney went full send on that.
Yeah. Good.
No, I mean, like, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, like I said, this episode was fantastic, and there's only these little two things that bother me, and I'm not going to let it bother me too much because we haven't seen what happens. So,
Right.
But one is if Kenobi. Obviously, we don't know if Kenobi. The way they left it off, we don't know if Kenobi leaves, but they're making it seem like Kenobi gets away from Vader on this planet, right?
Right.
But when they zoom out and they show the whole scene, the fire isn't that long. And there's nothing blocking them from just walking around it, let alone Vader jumping over it, walking through it, or just using the Force to blow it out like he literally just does before the girl shoots, right? So I wrote here, I can't imagine Vader letting him get away because of some fire. So what I mean by that is I get that he's toying with him, but there's also a side of me that just wants straight explanations from them instead of Star Wars fans having to come up with reasons stuff happens. So there is no reason Vader should let Kenobi get away. There's one lady with a little handheld blaster and a droid that may or may not be Wrecker and a hurt Obi-Wan. He's got a full battalion of stormtroopers and 3 Inquisitors with him, plus himself. He doesn't need any of them. But why, if he gets away, why is he getting away?
I mean,
it makes no sense. Why is Vader letting...
You saw the chase scenes.
That's what I'm saying. And we're about to talk about that too for a second, because once we get back to Reva, we'll talk about that. But like, that is the one thing that took me out of this episode right at the end. Like you said earlier, KT, my first initial, as I'm watching it, 10 out of 10 in my eyes. Like, I'm like freaking out, loving it, on the edge of my seat.
Yeah.
The episode ended, and I'm sitting there, just my phone. I locked my phone, and I'm just sitting there. I'm like,
you drew back a little bit.
I said, wait a second. What is going on here?
Yeah.
And like I said, I don't want to jump the gun because we don't know yet.
Right.
For all we know, the next episode, Vader could just fucking blow the fire. Like, it could pick up right off, and Vader blows the fire out and picks. So we don't know. But the way they left it, it kind of seems like they're going to let him escape. But like,
the only reason I can think is just symbolism. That's about it.
Yeah, no, I get that. Like I said,
but
I'm tired of, as a Star Wars fan, having to make up reasons why something's happening. Like, I just want clear cut reasons. So like, what I predicted was going to happen. So before the show came out and it was confirmed that they fight twice, so obviously Obi-Wan's going to have to escape or win due to canon, like, because we know they fight again in A New Hope. So Kenobi can't lose. Or, well, he can lose, but he can't die. So that means he escapes. Vader's not going to just leave him. You know what I mean? He's not going to just let him live. And 2, he either has to do that or he has to injure Vader to escape. So basically his only way is escape, because he can't kill Vader either way.
Right.
So the way I was saying it is I was like, all right, well, maybe, because there's that concept art of them fighting and there's like lava in the background. I'm like, all right, well, maybe they fight on Mustafar, right? Like, maybe he captures Obi-Wan and Obi-Wan escapes and they fight. This could still happen. But what I was saying is, there's a lot of aliens, there's a lot of creatures in Star Wars, right? The only reason I think Kenobi should be able to escape Vader, not from one little lady with a blaster just shooting a stormtrooper and that's it, but maybe like they're fighting on Mustafar and there's this giant lava monster that even poses a threat to Vader because it's huge. It's got a lot of power. Maybe it's force sensitive, maybe it's not, whatever. Just this giant creature, right? Either they have to work together to survive, or Kenobi uses that and leaves Vader to fight him on his own. And then guess what? We get Vader fighting this giant creature and showing his real power. You know what I mean? That's what I thought was something like that was going to happen, not just Kenobi gets saved by some random Imperial officer. A lot of people, real quick too, to touch on that, a lot of people think that she was just posing as an officer, but what she actually is part of the Empire. I don't know if you guys caught this, but when they're in the back room, she says, "I joined up before I knew what the Empire was."
Well, it's like Sabine.
Right.
She left.
She was an officer.
Yes.
And the only reason it leads me to believe that's a little different than Sabine is because she's still a part of it. Like she's still leading the stormtroopers. Like she pulls up.
So,
but you know what I mean?
So
Hux. Uses her position.
Right. More like a Hux.
So.
Kind of like Hux.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I did like the character a lot for what she utilizes her role for.
Right. But like I said, fair enough. It's a good like way to move the story along. But why is she the one saving Kenobi? Like I just don't. Like I said, I won't go too much into it because we don't know what's going to happen. But like I just don't buy it. You know what I mean? Like if that's how it goes down, I don't buy it. Here in the comics, Vader gets submerged in lava and comes out fine. So Vader could have walked with fire. Exactly. But so that was the one thing that took me out of it. The second, my mom caught this because I talked to her on the phone about it. First of all, before we even get into that, why does Leia not run? And what is that lady's name? Why do her and Leia not know the girl that's helping her? Why do they not run? Why do they not run down the tunnel? They're just walking and talking. Bro, you literally just watched Vader murder innocent civilians. You're not innocent civilians in his eyes. Like you're people he needs to get to. You should be running your ass. Anyways, second, how does Reva go into the tunnel right behind them, but somehow walk right past the Imperial girl because the Imperial lady gets through to go help Kenobi? And she passes Leia or finds, how does she know where it goes? So how does she get to the port before them without them seeing her?
I noticed in
parkour.
My immediate brain went, oh, that's a continuity error. What's going on?
Right, exactly. So
parkour.
Parkour. Maybe she's
parkour.
Maybe she's just smart enough to know that it's going to the port because it kind of does make sense. Like, where else would they be going? But at the same time, it's like, bro, come on.
I'm just remembering back to like the second episode, Batman.
Yeah, Batman. Here you go. Helicopter. Helicopter blade. She flew there.
Helicopter.
That one scene in the office. Parkour.
So it was just those two things combined together right at the end of that episode that just left me. As soon as the episode ended, I was just like,
parkour.
Why? And like I said, obviously Reva is going to chase Leia. Are we going to get another shitty chase scene, or is she just going to capture her right away?
Well, that can be an excuse for, like, let's say what I'm kind of conglomerating in my head is, say Reva captures Leia. They go back to Mustafar, to Vader's temple, and maybe that gives Kenobi an excuse to go back to Mustafar, and then hopefully that big lava monster comes, and then Reva will do more parkour.
Imagine if to get over the fire, Vader pulls out Inquisitor and pulls out the Inquisitor blade and flies over it. Yeah. I honestly, dude, they should not have done that in Rebels.
I know, in Rebels.
It is so stupid.
Funny.
Inquisitor flying over like Inspector Gadget.
And Vader's gonna need two of them. He's too heavy. I need to see the Inquisitor fly. No, please no. It's too funny. It's funny, but this is not supposed to be funny, okay?
I feel like because of Rebels, we're going to get something like that. Like, because of Rebels, we're going to get something canon to... It is canon, but getting something like...
live action, yeah.
That.
Maybe.
But like, so kind of like going back...
I want to see Reva fly, too. I'm sorry.
See her wind up.
She's getting shit now. Imagine that. She's going to get more shit for that, I promise.
Wind up.
Oh,
so... It makes it hard to believe though, because like in Fallen Order, you don't see the second sister do it, and I couldn't even imagine her doing it because she's just so badass. Like, I don't don't know.
So like, wait, what does it say?
The fact that the Inquisitor lightsaber lightsabers can makes a plot hole. Whenever an Inquisitor needs to catch somebody.
That's kind of like something that George Lucas like touched up on in an interview, like when they were, or it was either George. No, it wasn't George Lucas. It was Dave Filoni. He said that like one of the reasons why they did the Inquisitors with the helicopter sabers was because they could drop an Inquisitor like from a distance in any scene, and that's like one of the reasons why they came up with that concept for the Inquisitors. Like, but wait, what does it say?
Have a good evening, y'all. Commander Going Dark as always. Thanks for stopping by. Appreciate it.
But like, so what Amber said, like, taking Riva taking Leia to Mustafar, right? And
she can't control herself.
I can't. It's hilarious.
So similar, but kind of different, right? So like my whether it's the next episode or somewhere in the next 3 episodes, my next prediction is that following that scene with Riva at the Inquisitor base, I think that Riva is going to bring Leia back to the Inquisitor base, talk to Vader over the Rewind. But I feel like that's where we're going to get the scene, right, of possibly Riva coming back to the light by some way of maybe Leia changing her mind in some way.
Maybe.
Fighting her Inquisitor brother and sisters, pulling the Obi-Wan, and then we get a flying away from the
with Leia. She just holds Leia.
That's my prediction.
Like Leia pulls a Yoda and she's like.
Oh, what's up, bro? When are you able to talk about the Discord? We can talk about it after this if you want, if you're free.
I need a screenshot of Amber doing that.
Got Amber, read this one for me.
God. I can't even read it. It's so bad. Like somebody needs to make an edit now of just like
you guys remember that
in Rebels helicopter.
You guys remember that it went around for a while. It was this video where like someone would fall and then they would edit them like flying through space and stuff. They need to do that.
Please just do it. And then imagine like it's like the Mario
8-bit Inquisitor flying through. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh Jesus.
But yeah, this is the last thing I wrote. I said Leia is super fast. Obviously, she can run faster than everybody in Star Wars, but Riva is faster. She's gonna catch her.
After a helicopter, Riva. Like imagine the way she got ahead of both the lady and Leia is she pulled out her thing, helicoptered through the roof, and then flew over and landed. And she's like, whoever is looking for you is not looking for you now. Takes Leia and flies up.
Finally got COVID this week, and now Amber is making me laugh and cough.
It's funny. It's just like
I can imagine someone doing an edit of like,
you feel better.
Helicopter, and flying through the
like she loses control of it. And she's
oh my goodness.
Oh god.
Oh god.
No, that's definitely like same track on Jake. Like that's one of the scenes that, like right at the very end, that didn't make sense to me. Like is going through the tunnel. I didn't see a fork in the road. I didn't see anything in that tunnel.
But you see a hole through the roof all of a sudden. No, I swear, at least at this point now, if they end up doing a helicopter scene or something, I'm going to lose it.
Yeah, and that's the point. That is the point. So if they do it, we're all going to start laughing.
We see the helicopter.
It'll be done. Like, I'm not going to watch the rest of the episode for like hours.
Oh my goodness.
God.
I'm just going to be laughing too much.
I will be. It's just going to look so silly. I'm sorry. It's just,
hey man, it's canon. Yeah, unfortunately it is.
Like it is canon. So that's why like my side thought is like, that's like my prediction is that they're gonna do something with it, right? They're gonna do something with it, and we're all three of us gonna lose our freaking mind.
I'm gonna laugh so hard. It's just it looks ridiculous.
Right. We're gonna have to get. Do you guys have iPhones?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna have to like get each other's numbers so we can FaceTime if it happens, and we
No,
can all laugh
yes.
together
It's
for a couple hours.
so done. Like, I'm gonna be at work, and like, if you guys watch it early in the morning, fine. But I know if you
Just call
FaceTime
you.
me, it's just gonna be done. Like, I'll be in the middle of work, and I'll get a phone call from you guys.
Oh man.
It's time.
Oh shit, I work Tuesday too. Fuck. All right, well I work both days, but anyways,
Oh, God.
so that's all I had written down.
Amber, did you have any
Is there anything you guys want to talk
about the episode at all?
Just the
That we didn't get a helicopter.
Just no helicopter, yeah.
didn't get a helicopter. Yeah, I mean, other than Reva just skipping the line for some reason, like
Yeah.
entitled people going through the fast pass or something like that.
Right.
Like, I mean, everything else was fine.
Genie
like
Plus
I said,
now, by the way.
right? She lightning laned that, so
Yeah.
it's fine. But I mean, going back to your point of, the Vader and the fire thing, I'm just going to look at it from a symbolic perspective unless they start off there.
Right.
And like I said, the only other issue is just, like what's going to just Reva just skipping, she took the fast pass. She took the helicopter. It's fine.
Like they literally could have just put a scene in there of her like going,
of like,
oh, here's a secret tunnel. I bet you
Right.
like she didn't have to say it. She could just like look up at the airport or whatever. They don't,
Right.
It's obviously not the airport, but like their loading dock and being like, it probably goes there, and then does her parkour and gets there or whatever. If they would have just showed like 2 seconds of it, it would have just eliminated that whole problem. But
no, it would have been.
it's just like, I don't know if you guys know, but in Revenge of the Sith, when Anakin and Obi-Wan are fighting, when Anakin has Obi-Wan and he's like about to kill him on the table, it switches scenes and it switches sabers. It's at first it's Anakin's saber, and then when they switch camera angles, it's Kenobi's saber, and then it switches back. Next time you watch it, you're never gonna be able to watch that scene without noticing it now. But it's stuff like that. So obviously, shit like that happens.
Like,
Yeah, kind of like he forgets his glove.
Yeah. The
So-
one thing I will say, going back to your quick question of issue, why didn't Vader sense the lady with the gun in the background and like boom, boom, you're in the fire too, or something like that? Like I understand he's fixated on Kenobi, but like
this is Vader. Dude.
Like she shot like 2 troopers. Why didn't he just boom and then we're done? You know, he just
we get a Rocky training scene for Obi-Wan. I believe we will. I honestly, all right. So just as a quick recap, I don't know how they're gonna finish this series out. So we'll kind of go into our predictions. I don't know where they're gonna go because we only have 3 episodes left. Right. Kenobi's gonna have to beat Vader in a fight. We still need to get the Reva fighting scene. Obviously, we figured that out. We haven't got that from the trailer. So there's a lot that still needs to happen, and I almost don't know if they're gonna be able to do it well in 3 episodes. I'm optimistic because it's been good so far.
Right.
So the only thing I can see happening is a time jump because Kenobi has to heal. You know what I mean? So depending on how this next episode starts is how I'll kind of know. So either this episode or the next episode is going to have to start with a time jump. We're going to have to get a time jump of some sort. Like maybe, all right, this is my prediction. Ready? Next episode, we're going to get back to tank flashbacks for most of the episode. And then the next episode is after it's going to be a time jump. So he heals. And then we're going to get a time jump to when he's training. And then that's when the whole Vader thing happens again. Right. But like I said, if they don't time jump, I don't know what's going to happen. You know what I mean? Because Kenobi's got to heal. They're going to fight again. And like, we already know Vader's super OP. Like there's no way a hurt Obi-Wan's beating him. You know what I mean? So I'm hoping for flashbacks next episode. Because why not? More Clone Wars.
No, that would be great.
Hayden and Ewan together. Yeah, dude. 100%.
That would be great.
So that's where I'm going for my predictions. What do you guys got?
I'm not going to be 100% certain on the time jump just because we now have Reva in close contact, if not kidnapping now, Leia. And, at this point, we know that Obi does need to heal. I mean, force healing is canon, unfortunately, like the helicopters. So that's definitely not going to happen. But he needs to kind of just wrap it up, get stuff together, because you have Leia's father, like putting a lot of pressure on him,
right?
And now she's gone again. So
maybe she's not though. We don't know if she's captured.
Right. Well, I mean, maybe at that point,
maybe
like,
Leia uses the Force
no
and flies into space like she does in the sequels.
some things.
And gets away.
Oh boy!
Jeez. And then Reva's after her,
flying right behind
space.
her. I think next episode will be fully focused on Leia and Reva, and we'll barely get any Obi-Wan. I really think we're gonna get flashbacks, dude. There's no way. Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni aren't going to give us flashbacks, bro.
It's going to be Obi healing. I'm going to call this. It's going to be Obi healing flashbacks happening. If they don't time jump, it's going to be Obi healing flashbacks happening. Clone Wars, we're hoping. Then it's going to be Reva Leia. And at that point, Leia's going to convince Reva, light side stuff, great, turn to me. And then
she saves her. You think that's a good point?
Potentially,
maybe Reva just turns to the light and saves her. Yeah,
right. And just here's the child.
Redeems herself.
So
you both are taking the words right out of my mouth. Like literally, like everything.
I kind of like that.
Two of the things you guys both said, like I have like two of those like in mind, right? Like definitely. Because I definitely thought about the flashbacks back to Tank. Definitely thought about Clone Wars flashbacks, Clone Wars armor. Like I'm really hoping for Clone Wars armor. But in between Obi and the back to Tank getting, having flashbacks and healing is gonna be Reva and Leia at the Inquisitor base. And then Reva fights the Inquisitor. That is my prediction.
Back and forth. Do you think she's killing the other Inquisitors? Do you think she's going to kill those two?
Maybe not kill them. I definitely think she's going to have a epic brawl with them.
I think so the only reason I say kill them is because I kind of think they have to die. You know what I mean? Because they're not in anything else. Like we don't see them anywhere else. You know what I mean? So I low key think it would be cool. So kind of like in Episode 3 when we switch back and forth from Yoda versus Palpatine to Kenobi. Versus Anakin. I think we're getting to something here with the whole flashbacks and Reva and Leia thing. I didn't think about Reva and Leia, like Leia being the reason she turns, but that's a really good point. I am leaning towards that now. I think that would be amazing, and it would make sense because in the trailer, like you said, she does the Obi-Wan and she's blocking blaster bolts, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense if she fights an Inquisitor. Like think about it if she fights the fifth brother, right? Even if the fourth sister's not there with them, maybe she fights both. Maybe she's just amazing and she pulls a Maul versus Kenobi and Qui-Gon and she fights both, which would be cool. But it would make sense why she's deflecting blaster bolts. Because the only other thing that I could think of is if they get raided by like Bail and maybe the start of the Rebel Alliance or like Bail and like a hired army. But that's almost a little unbelievable. You know what I mean? Because Bail is still like. Leia and Bail are still low key in A New Hope. Like they're still, so that doesn't make too much sense because that's the only other reason I was like, why is she like fight? Like who's shooting at her? You know what I mean? Like, it's not Kenobi. So I mean, maybe Leia just steals a blaster and starts shooting at her or something.
Right.
But yeah, so I agree. I think we're onto something there. I think we could be pretty confident on the whole flashback thing. But I definitely like where you guys are going with the whole Reva thing.
Like that's the only thing I got. Like especially like after, aside from that one scene that we haven't gotten yet, we've gotten every other scene from the trailer, from both trailers.
For sure.
We've gotten all that content already, and like you said in the beginning, after this episode, I did not know what was going to happen next, but that's solely because of I couldn't think anything back to the trailer. What would happen?
Right.
Next.
Yeah. I don't know. I think we're getting somewhere. I guess we'll see in a couple of days. So next week I'm actually off on Friday again. If you guys want to do it again next Friday,
I'm
you guys
fine.
cool with that?
Yeah.
Friday again. Okay.
Yep. Let's do it.
Sweet. Just as a little announcement, fifth brother can't die because of Rebels. Yeah. I mean, get hurt though. I think it'd be cool. I think it'd be cool if it would make more sense if Reva just destroys them and.
I mean, he does that to Grand Inquisitor, and he's still there. So
yeah.
Oh boy.
But as a little announcement, I will probably be doing another podcast on Thursday with a fan of mine, Crispy. I'm going to have him on. I might see if we can get a couple more people. But that'll be Thursday night at 8. And then Friday night, we'll be back together for episode 4 of Kenobi. So if you guys don't have anything else, I'm good. We got through all my notes and my talking points. So if you guys are good.
Helicopter weekend.
We're gonna have to go back and rewatch that scene in Rebels so we can laugh.
last podcast was New York City Planet. This one is helicopter.
The meme machine Amber over here. She's just making memes.
So funny.
We're gonna have to clip that. I'm gonna have to go back and clip that. So that's you guys.
Yeah,
that's
send
hilarious.
it to me. New York City Planet.
Oh my god.
This is so bad.
You guys are crazy. But all right, well, we'll go ahead and end it here. We've been going for an hour and a half. We're like right on the money. So thank you guys for all stopping by, Helicopter. Thanks everybody. We had a bunch of you guys in here today. I appreciate it. Yeah, so we will see you guys then.
I want that clip. I
got you. All right, we're ending it. See you guys later. Thanks for stopping by.